but we don't give a shit. Having money doesn't make you a good footballer. It doesn't make a difference to us. We don't respect that.
Before True Geordie would clock in close to 200,000 Instagram followers, almost 300,000 on Twitter, and over 1 million on YouTube at the time of this recording.
That's what gets me up in the morning, is being terrified of failure.
Before True Geordie would take on the role of commentator for the KSI versus Joe Weller boxing match.
You said before this fight you had something planned. Is there anything you want to say to someone out there? You said you wanted to call someone out.
Before a scandal would break out pertaining to Geordie's role as commentator for the KSI versus Logan Paul fight.
And then I remembered, holy hat, this dude fucking hates me.
I don't hate him, for the record. I'm nothing him. Do you know what I mean? It's not love, it's not hate, it's just nothing.
Now I'm happy to announce that True Geordie will be returning to his post as announcer or commentator or moderator or whatever the hell it is you call it. I don't know what it is. Now this is a really inspirational story, and it goes to show you that nowadays, well, you don't need a broadcasting degree to build an audience for yourself and become a social media juggernaut. That word's also very fitting for this man. In fact, the King of the North, well, he went through a whole bunch of different directions before he was the man in the middle of these YouTube boxing events. He trained as a mechanical engineer's apprentice, and he was a deep sea diver before tragedy opened his eyes to his true passion and the potential that can be harnessed on YouTube. Now I'm happy to see him accomplishing his dreams, and I can relate to a whole bunch of parts of his story because there were times where he couldn't afford his rent, he couldn't afford bread, milk, and well, he was on a self-destructive path. What's going on, guys? It's your boy Michael McCrudden, documenting the life and career of True Geordie prior to fame, here for you on Before They're Famous. Now, we recently dropped a video on another macho man by the name of Robert Frank 615.
The glorious House of Gaines, a place where life and death are meaningless and pain is gone.
If you haven't checked that one out, you're definitely missing out. Now, typically you guys request who I document next, but with True Geordie, well, all the comments are from you guys picking him as my next competition in a boxing match. And I think that would be a bit of a massacre. Now, I'd certainly be down for a few pints with this man, that's for sure. Be sure to let us know who's next in the comment section down below, and I'll see you guys after the intro. And for the first time ever, I know what it feels like to be being picked on by a bigger man. Hey, be sure to subscribe and hit that bell. Boom! True Geordie was born Brian Davis, and according to famousbirthdays.com, he was born on January 26, 1987 in Newcastle. Now, this is the most populous city in northeast England. It's also, according to the American company Wiseman Tourism Report, well, the 8th best party town in the world. Take a look at this carnage. Now, the name True Geordie is a tip of the hat to his hometown. You may have heard of a little MTV show known as Geordie Shore, and that premise is based on the characters from this area. Now, Geordie is described by Urban Dictionary as the friendliest people in the UK, known for drinking everyone under the table and their amazing accent. Also, devoted football fans and mass lovers of Greggs. They don't deny a good baked pastry treat. Okay, so I got no idea what the hell Greggs is, but the football, the drinking, the accent, that all makes sense. And it fits well for Brian. As well for True, well, that means he's the truest or he's the most honest. And he tells it as it is. Now, Brian was raised by a single mother, and he described his father as a bit of a football hooligan. Now, lacking a father figure, he admitted himself that he was desperate for an alpha male to step in and put him in his place when he needed it. Now, he shared a tight bond with his mom, and one of his fondest and most impactful childhood stories was when she took him on a birthday, well, to watch a Newcastle United FC game. And that year, Alan Shearer, a Newcastle-born player, well, he could have easily played anywhere on any team, but he had chosen to be a hometown hero.
Ladies and gentlemen, Newcastle United presents Alan Shearer!
Now, Brian, he had already been a massive Newcastle fan, but he witnessed Alan score the winning goal of the match, and from there on out, well, he found his first strong male role model. And, well, he had someone to cheer for. He's also since met and interviewed Alan, so that's pretty cool. Now, being an only child, Brian was very close to his mother, and he lives by the moral compass to make her proud each and every day. Something he's certainly doing today. But it took a lot of trial and error for him to find his footing. Clearly an intelligent and well-spoken man, well, Brian suffered from something common with creative types. He excelled at whatever it was that interested him, but he would dismiss the disciplines that he didn't exactly care for. Now, one teacher, she told his mom that he was destined for prison when he was a young boy. And always being big for his age, well, the dude was standing at 6'2" when he was only 15. He was also filled with rage. And this is how Brian described himself as a teen.
Covered in spots, addicted to porn, really struggling at school, quite violent, full of anger, testosterone fueled, just struggling.
Now, growing up, he was also a massive fan of video games. He told blogger LVL90 Otaku back in 2014 this. And sorry to the blogger if I come on, what do you want from me? I started gaming when I got my first Sega. It had Alex the Kid built in, and once I got Sonic the Hedgehog, I was hooked. Not long after, I got the first FIFAs, which were really rough around the edges, but FIFA 97 nailed it, and I realized I didn't just love real football, but football games as well. Brian was on the hunt to find a career that wouldn't make him miserable. Now, he tried college, where a Newcastle United journalist told him that he would never amount to nothing. He became an apprentice mechanical engineer, where he would take 2 buses to and from work, and he quickly realized once again that this wasn't the career for him. Now, this part of the story reminds me a lot of the Conor McGregor story, which True Geordie, well, he's made a fine video on. So let's take a look at that.
Conor ended up in a plumbing apprenticeship, which meant every morning he'd be waiting by the side of the motorway to get picked up, taken to site, and installing pipes.
Like I said, really good video. So Brian was back to the drawing board trying to figure out what career he was gonna make for his future. Now, he'd already developed a little obsession with watching content on YouTube. He even first opened his account back in 2006. Now, he enjoyed watching everyday people build an audience, but he had yet to have the light bulb go off that this was gonna be his very own future. Instead, he stumbled upon a YouTube video about deep sea diving. Now, it's impossible for me to be certain which exact video he watched, but I'm assuming it was something like this.
Let's put it like this. It was not a lot of physical effort, but you need a lot of coordination. You have to tighten bolts while floating.
Now, the top comment on that video is "Who's here from the True Geordie? Ha ha ha." So I'm assuming if that's not the exact video, I came pretty close. Now, excited with the prospects of his job and feeling like he was the right man for the gig, well, Brian signed up for deep sea diving school in northern Scotland. And this, well, it cost him a pretty penny, $30,000. And, well, Mom, she had to mortgage the house to cover these costs. Now, although his first experience wasn't ideal with him having a bit of a panic attack, he persevered and got going, putting in 70-hour weeks.
Okay, this is not scuba diving, fun, paddling along, looking at the fishes. This is heavy duty equipment on you, deep sea diving, working underwater in often muddy black water where you can barely see anything.
Now, it wasn't the worst gig in the world. Those at the top, they were earning between 500 to 1,000 British pounds per day, but Brian was having more fun being an entertainer when he was out of the water with his coworkers. And again, he could see the future. This career wouldn't exactly make him, well, he'd be miserable eventually. Now, he hadn't exactly figured out what he wanted to do with his future, but by now he wasn't exactly a spring chicken. Again, he turned to YouTube and even dabbled with posting his own videos back in 2010. Now, these revolved around the world of MMA, with him giving his predictions on who was gonna win. Now, to my knowledge, these videos have since been deleted. Now, there is a part in Brian's story where he was on a bit of a self-destructive path. There were wild nights of drinking, and one time he found himself in his flat nearly choking on his own vomit. He thought he was gonna die, he had hit rock bottom, and all his dreams and his hopes, they were falling apart. He felt destitute. I know that feeling myself. Another tragedy, it hit when one of his close buddies named George, well, he suddenly passed away. Now, George, he had been a die-hard fan of Newcastle United, and his funeral was as much a celebration of his love for the sport as it was to mourn his untimely passing. And in an interview given to the same blogger that I mentioned earlier, well, True Geordie stated, a little over a week later, a player who played for Newcastle at the time, a known idiot convict, well, he came out and criticized the fans. I couldn't let it lie, knowing how much George worshipped the team. I had to respond. So I decided to go back to YouTube to tell this player exactly what I thought of him. So let's roll a clip from what is the oldest remaining video on his YouTube channel.
Newcastle have been nothing short of absolutely fucking shit this season. We've been absolutely dire, right? When the team plays well, I'll pat them on the back. When they play shit, I'll tell them not to play shit when I'm at the match.
From there, the ball started rolling, and he was hired to host another YouTube channel known as Kick TV. And, well, obviously he continued to work on his own as well.
Right, the True Geordie topic of the day, Jimmy, is what really grips my
There was also a time where me and True Geordie, well, we were looking like twins.
It's easy to make a prediction when the going's bad. You know, everyone's going to be on the Pellegrini bandwagon right now.
Nasir Jones grew up in the rough and tough projects of Queens, New York. He also started up a gaming channel, which has since evolved into something bigger between him and a bunch of friends under the brand, I believe, is XO. Now, as for the recent controversy, Geordie versus Logan Paul, well, you can find more of that on his channel because, well, we've got links to it down below. Also, while writing this video, of course, we pillage everyone's Instagram, Twitter, Facebook looking for information. And I saw that True Geordie had liked a tweet by Keemstar where Keemstar said, I can't make a video on him when he dies. And then I'm like, oh, damn, what's True Geordie got against me? I don't know what it is. I just don't want to fight him. As for the rest of the story, well, I guess that's it because this is Before They're Famous. My name is Michael McCredden. We make all sorts of celebrity bios, so be sure to let us know who's next in the comments down below. 2 more videos for you right here, and I'll see you guys in another one. Boom!
True Geordie, I'm sorry. Please don't hurt me.